Hello everyone, welcome to the first lecture of Full Stack Web Development course. In this course, we will implement both mean and MERN stack. I am going to discuss what is mean and MERN stack in this video. But before that, we need to start with the basic concepts which are required for the web development course. First thing, or the first question which should be asked is what is internet and how does the internet work, because without knowing internet we cannot do web development course. So slowly we'll go through, although we are not doing any specialized course for network, we will deal with small concept of internet and the related terms, and then we'll proceed to the web development course. So what is internet? As per definition, internet is a very vast network which connects computer and devices all over the world, and it is not like as we see over the internet today. It has evolved from small network. In the starting, the first network in the history of internet was formed is known as ARPANET. If you don't know about this, ARPANET stands for Advanced Research Project Agency Network. It was formed in US. Although it's not important for web development, this is just for information. So internet is a very large network where multiple networks have joined together to form a large network. And how does the internet work? Internet works on the basis of various protocols. Protocols are nothing but set of rules. For every work we follow set of rules. For example, take a scenario, if a student is going to school, a set of rule has been laid down by the school that you have to wear the uniform, you have to wear the tie, you have to wear the school shoes, you have to wear the I-card of the school, etc, etc. So same way, if internet has to work, for every work a specific set of rules have been laid out, and that set of rule is also known as protocol. So for every work there is a different set of rule, and every set of rule form a different protocol. So there are various protocols on the internet. If you talk about internet, so what we have talked about internet is a very large network. So this discussion will be incomplete without knowing network. So what is a network? A network is nothing but combination or joining of more than one devices together. It could be a small network of 2 or 3 or few devices, or it could be a very large network of thousands and lakhs of devices. And the connection could be established both physical medium, through physical medium, or through non-physical medium. Physical medium means wire, non-physical medium means in which waves are used, such as radio waves, microwaves. Now, how many types of networks are there? So there are 4 types of network. Number 1 is PAN, stands for personal area network. What's a personal area network? It's a small network which ranges to a very few meters. Example of such network is if I am operating my AC or television through remote control, that is an example of PAN network. Next is LAN. LAN stands for local area network. Example, if there is a network established in a school campus where multiple buildings are there, in that network is said to be a local area network. Next comes MAN, metropolitan area network. If a network is spanning through over a city over few kilometers, such networks are said to be MAN. For example, if an organization has several offices in a city and those offices are interconnected through a network, then that type of network will be known as metropolitan area network. And the last one is WAN, which is known as wide area network. This is the largest form of network where the area limitation, there is no area limitation. It could span throughout multiple cities, it can span through multiple countries, and it can even span through multiple continents. And internet, which is a kind of network, comes under this category, which is known as WAN, wide area network. After this, we will discuss about a very important concept known as client server. What is a server? Server is a dedicated machine which is connected to the internet, and it's working 24/7 to process the requests coming through various web clients. A web client can be a laptop, it could be a mobile device, it could be a desktop, or it could be a tablet, or it could be any other device which is connected through internet. Let's talk about the communication between a web client and a web server. So what is a web client? Web client is our web browser which is used to browse the internet, and it could be any of the web browser, Mozilla Firefox, Internet Explorer, or Google Chrome, or Opera Mini. Any browser is a web client. So what do we do to connect with a web server through a web client? When we open a browser, first thing we do is we type the URL of the website which we need to access. And where are the websites residing? They are residing, or they are saved in they are stored in the web server. When you type the URL, the request goes to the ISP, local ISP. ISP stands for Internet Service Provider. They are the companies who are providing internet to us, like Jio, Airtel, BSNL, etc. in India. And they forward the request to the nearest DNS server. DNS is a special server which act as a telephone directory, where every URL has a corresponding IP address, and DNS server stands for domain name system server. So once we retrieve the IP address of the web server, that IP address is given back to the browser, and browser forward the request to the correct web server through that IP address. And when the web server receives the request, it sends back the website which you want to browse or access through that web server. Now, to understand the layout of the cable for accessing the internet through various continents and countries or throughout the world, you can check this website, Submarine Cable Map. Here you can check the cable layout of the cables laying under the ocean and sea and connecting various continents and countries. So if you check this map, all the countries are getting connected through these cables. Okay, you can even check, if you click on, if you just put the pointer over any of the wire, check Tata TGN Atlantic South, Apollo, Yellow, Atlantic Crossing 1. These are the cables which are laying down the sea. So you can check it through the submarinecablemap.com. This is just for information. We can check the various cabling. Now let's proceed with the web development course. Let's start the introduction of our web development course. First of all, as I said, in this full stack web development course, we are going to follow MERN and MEAN stack. In the MERN stack, we are going to discuss MongoDB, Express.js, React, and Node.js. And in MEAN and MERN, there is a single difference, that is R and A. R is React, whereas in MEAN, that React, instead of React, we are having Angular. In which MongoDB is nothing but the database. Okay, it's a non-SQL database. It's a database, and Express is the backend. You don't need to be knowing this backend and front end. We will be discussing. So these will be used in our MEAN and MERN stack. So this is backend. So if you look onto the MERN and MEAN stack, MongoDB, which is a database, which is a non-SQL database, Express.js and Node.js are the backend, and React is a front-end application. And in the MEAN, instead of React, in place of React, we use Angular for the front end. But that doesn't mean that we don't have to, or we directly have to jump onto these applications. We have to first go through the basic foundation, which is HTML, CSS, and JS. We cannot directly go and start using MongoDB, Express.js, React, and Node.js or Angular. We have to go through the foundation, that is HTML, CS, and JS, which are the basic unit or the building block of any of the website. And after this, we will be moving on to the Mongo, Express, React, and Node. So what is the responsibility of HTML in a web development? HTML stands to define the structure of the web page. The CSS is used for styling, and JS is for adding the functionality to your web page. So basic building blocks are HTML, CSS, and JS. HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. Through this, we are going to define the structure of the web page. CSS is used to style the web page. The appearance will be defined by CSS, which is cascading style sheet, and the JS, which is known as JavaScript, will define the functionalities of the web page. Now, in order to understand this, you can check this. If this is the HTML segment, if I uncomment this, you can see the HTML defines the structure, what contents are to be displayed, where it has to be displayed. This is decided by the HTML, whereas the CSS code is there to style the web page. If you can see the styling of the web page, that is after applying the CSS, we can see the background of the web page has changed to red and the text has changed into white. So the styling part of the web page is done by the CSS, whereas JS only adds the functionality to your web page. So if I execute a JSS on a page, it will show like this, an alert box. So these are the three building block or the basic component for web development. They are HTML, CSS and JS. HTML defines the structure, CSS does the styling, whereas JS does the functionality part of the web page. Let's get back again. So what are we now going to tell you, that a web development is not done by a single person or a single team. Like a web development process is divided into 4 different teams. The first one is the coding part. The coding part is done by the building team or the developers team. Here the developers do the coding part and can even do the system level testing of the coding. And then once the development by the developers team is done, then the code is forwarded to the next team, which is known as testing team. The testing team can do manual or automated testing. There are tools like Selenium and all. It checks whether the particular application is breaking somewhere or not, and after every testing, when the team finds that the application is running smoothly and as per the expectation, it forwards the same team to the hosting team. The hosting team, that is also known as DevOps team, it uploads the application so that it reaches or is accessible to the client, and after that the work comes to the maintenance team or the support team. Generally a company do have a tenure of maintenance, that is support, that may be 1 year, 2 year, 5 year, whatever the agreement is. According to the agreement, for a specific tenure, a specific time period, the maintenance team or the support team of the company keep on helping the client in order for the smooth transition of the software or of the application. So this is the entire team which work together to build a web app. So after the application is ready, we access the web application or website by using the URL or URI. URL stands for Uniform Resource Locator, and URI is also an alternate name for URL, which stands for Uniform Resource Identifier. Let's take some sample URL. This is an Instagram URL. You can check this, www.instagram.com. And if I hover over this, you can check, and a pop-up is there which says that if I press the control key and press this will take me to this URL, and you can check it's open although my account is not logged in. And the second one is just a demo URL, which is not actually authentic. I have just written it to explain the various parts of the URL. Let's check this. You can see there is no website on this URL. Okay, if you just dissect this, or if you bifurcate this URL, you can see the following parts are there: https education yesh edu and my tutorial. What are they? https is the protocol, education is subdomain, yes is server or the domain name, edu is the TLD, it's top level domain, and my tutorial is nothing but the path or the location in that URL. Okay, we will discuss them one by one. What is protocol? We have already defined the protocol in this video. Let's have a look over the various different types of protocols. HTTP, HTTPS. So if you look onto them one by one, HTTP stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol, and HTTPS stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secure. So between browser and a web server, the data is moved from to and fro through Hypertext Transfer Protocol, and when it is used with S, it it states that the hypertext transfer protocol is working in a secure mode where the data which is being transferred between the client and the server is encrypted. Encryption helps us to save our data, to protect our data. If some sensitive data is going between the client and the server, like ID and password of some banking site, then the encrypted part won't be misused even if intercepted by someone in between the communication. Okay, and the security is achieved by SSL and TLS. What is the meaning of this? SSL means secure socket layer, whereas TLS stands for transport layer security. They are the certification which ensures a user that the particular website is secure. Let's check it. If you go to any of the trusted website sites, say Google, if you click on this, say the connection is secure. If you click on this, it's saying that it's secure, your information and everything is private when it is sent to the site. And if you want, you can even check the certificate has been issued to google.com, and you can check the duration when it was issued, till what date it's valid up to, and everything. So this is the SSL certification when we are using a secure connection. And FTP stands for file transfer protocol. This protocol is used when we are transferring a file over internet from one place to the other place. SMTP stands for simple mail transfer protocol, which is used for sending and receiving emails. Whenever you are sending a mail, there are a set of rules which are required to be followed, and this is the protocol which maintain those rules and regulations. Just imagine a scenario when I am sending a mail and I have forgot to write the email address of the receiver. Will the mail go? No, a pop-up will be raised saying that please fill the receiver's address. Similarly, TCP stands for transmission control protocol. When a data has to be transmitted between 2 points over internet, the TCP is used. It's connection based. It means handshake protocol. You can go and have a detailed study of this in any of the networking course. And UDP stands for user datagram protocol. It's not a state or handshake based protocol, but basically both these protocols are used for sending and receiving data packets over the internet. POP also stands for post office protocol, is also used for sending and receiving email. IP we also know that the IP is the address. Internet protocol is basically the address of the various server and computer over the internet. There are two different versions of IP, IPv4 and IPv6. IPv4 is composed of 4 numbers separated by dot, where IPv6 is composed of 6 numbers separated by dots. You can see the examples of IPv4 IP and IPv6 IP, and only difference between them is the number of parts, 6 and 4. So more, according to permutation and combination, more IP could be generated using IP6 in compared to IP4. Okay, now let's come back to the URL part. In the URL part, we discussed that there are few parts. HTTPS was the protocol. We discussed the protocols. Now let's come back to the domain and subdomain. What is the domain? Domain is the unique identifier given to the website. It's the unique name. If a company is creating a website, the name of the website is known as the domain or the server name, and every single website name is unique. If you look onto any of the company, say Amazon, Google, those are having a unique website, so their names are unique. Whereas if you look onto the protocol, the word before that server name is known as subdomain. Basically, just imagine if a company has a website and that company is running multiple services. For example, say Google is a company who is running number of services, like it runs the search engine, it runs the Google Map, it runs the Google Meet. It has number of services. So for every single service, it is not going to create a new domain. So what does it do? In a single domain, they create subdomain for their various services. Let's take the example. If you see, this is the URL of the Google search engine. It's simply google.com. And if I check the Google Meet, you can check the URL here. Google is the domain name or the server name, and before that there is a word Meet, which is the subdomain. Means this subdomain is running in the Google domain. Example of Amazon. If you check the domain of the Amazon's shopping website, it's amazon.in. So this is the server or the domain name. And if you go to the AWS service of the Amazon, you can see that Amazon is the domain name, whereas subdomain is the AWS, that is web services. It's part of the Amazon domain, it's a subdomain of Amazon domain. Although it's not strictly a rule that all the subdomain has to be before the domain name, but it's a general practice which is done by most of the web domain or web applications. So subdomain is a part of the server or the domain, and domain is nothing but the name or the identifier of the web service or web application. Now if you look on to the end of this URL, this is the top level domain. Actually there are different type of domains. There is a domain edu, stands for education. If it's an educational website, generally the people go with edu domain. If it's a commercial site, com. Similarly, IN stands for India. US domain is United States. Similarly, GOV stands for government website. So these are the top level domain which are used to represent. And the interesting part is, as I said, that the domain of a website is always unique, but the same domain can be used in different top level domain. For example, if there is a website, say amazon.com, so same domain can be used with amazon.in. Okay, or the same domain can be used with .edu. Understood my point? Said that in every top level domain, the domain name should be unique, but the same domain name can be used in different top level domain. That is why you can check this. If I go to the Amazon website, here it is amazon.in. So if I write amazon.com, then also it will open. Basically those big companies do buy all the top level domain, because they don't want any person to open the same domain in different top level domains. That's why they take all the top level domain along with their domain name. Okay, now this is the entire URL, and this is the these are the various parts of the URL, which is protocol, domain name, subdomain name, top level domain. So these are the various part of a URL. So in this video we have covered number of topics. We have covered internet, what is internet, how does internet work, what are protocols, what is network, what are the different types of network. We have came across MERN stack, mean stack. We also came across various type of protocols, and we even discussed the URL in detail. So we, in the very first video, we discussed all those topics, or try to cover all those topics which are the foundation of your web development course journey. So very soon I am going to post the next lecture. We will start our full stack web development journey with HTML, followed by CSS, then JS, and then followed by all the mean and MERN videos. So thank you very much for watching this video. Please give your feedback, valuable feedback after watching this video. Thank you.